Well, good morning. I have 10 o'clock, so I think we'll go ahead and get going here. First, I just want to, it appears that we do have a quorum of the board, so we can proceed. First thing we'll have is the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments with that? Or are you happy with the way it's written?
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as presented, Sheriff.
Well, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I think we had Dennis in with a second. So any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, hearing none, the agenda for today is approved. We will move on to the approval of meeting minutes. We had a regular meeting on the 9th, followed by a special meeting on the 11th, and those were sent out here last week. Is there any concerns about those minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion. We could probably do it with one motion to approve those minutes if those are satisfactory to the board.
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All
Alan,
opposed?
was that you that seconded?
Alan.
Okay. Well, that motion passes. We're up to public comment. And I'm seeing no members of the public. Bree, do you see anybody?
Nope, not on YouTube.
Okay. Next up, we have the payables that were presented. Is there any discussions or questions for staff on the payables as presented?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we can pay the payables. Next up, we have various, the law tack and fire tack, and see Troy Brightbill is there. Troy, if you could give us a report on the law tack.
Yeah, we met last week. We discussed the CAD training, which started yesterday. I attended the first one of those classes. It went pretty well. Learned how to do a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know we could do. We did talk about some of the technical requirements for people for their computers before we get going on CAD. There was an issue we found for county users where our malware security software had prevented like a minor portion of Spillman from installing, and the simple fix is a reinstall with that software paused. We've also worked with the fire tack recently. I know Eric's here, he might bring it up more, and we think we found some solutions for them. They were had some concerns about a timeout issue and how to get access to law events in CAD. So we had a follow-up meeting on that on Friday. And that's what I've got.
Well, thank you, Troy. Are there any questions for Troy? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the fire tack. And I don't see Brandon Poff. I don't know if he was the lead of that, but to see Eric Curious, I know has been involved as well. Did you have any report, Eric, from your side?
Yeah, I'm not the representative, but I don't mind giving a report. Our focus on the fire side has been response planning. We've done some significant workshopping with the Spillman folks and our team, and that's our focus right now. In addition to the, I think Troy covered the other issues that we're working through with connectivity and dwell time. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Okay, are there any questions for Eric or any comments from the fire side?
Yeah, the only thing Brandon had, he was just going to say pretty much what Eric did, plus we've met and worked on run cards, and that's where we're at.
Okay, and I think we'll, in the staff update, we'll get more into the details of the implementation of the new CAD system. Yeah. Alrighty, moving on, Frank, we have the director's report.
Yes.
Not Frank, I'm sorry, Norm. I saw Frank there.
It's an easy mistake.
You threw me for a second. We are still at 20 dispatchers total, counting the 3 trainees. We are actively recruiting for additional trainees or transfers in, lateral transfers. We had interviews scheduled for yesterday for 3 applicants. Those ended up getting canceled because Janelle tested positive for COVID Monday evening or very early Tuesday morning. And so we couldn't accommodate those. The materials we needed for the interviews were on her computer and we didn't have access to it. So we basically rescheduled those. She feels all right, but she will be out for the rest of this week and hopefully back on Monday. And we'll get those first interviews rescheduled. Climate and culture, I think the morale is, kind of consistently where it's been for the time I've been here. I think that it's a little bit, I think there's hope that springs with thinking that there is potentially a permanent leader possibly coming soon. I think the dispatchers appreciated the ability to give their input into the process, and I want to thank you for allowing them to do that. And I know that the administrative staff also felt that same way. So I think that's it for climate and culture. Facility update. So we're in a bit of a turmoil there this week. Kerry Wilson, the project manager, announced that he is taking a new position with a different contractor out of Gig Harbor. And so they are transitioning who their project manager will be. And we are, they're continuing to work on the project, and their superintendent is actively trying to get that done as quickly as possible. They are still saying April 21st, but realistically, it's probably slipped a week or 2 beyond that for substantial completion. That's kind of where we're at right now. I'll ask if there's any questions before we go into the radio update. Hearing none, I think I'll turn that over to Deanna to talk about the radios.
Okay. So the radio console move, our plan is to have consoles running here and consoles running at the new Ocean Beach site simultaneously, with a way to install consoles there, test them, make sure everything's functioning the way that it should be. In our contract discussions with Motorola, their schedule that they presented was 8 months from the time of the PO. And so I had some lengthy discussions with the rep, and he explained that contractually they wouldn't commit to anything less than that because there's supply chain issues with one primary piece of equipment that we need that's a GGM 8000 gateway, and we need 2 of those to maintain a site. So right now, with the redundancy that we have, so we have our primary links and then we have a backup, which is a failover. And when we do this transition, we're going to use those links separately. So one will operate the Ocean Beach site, the other will operate the Cowlitz County site. But in order to do that, we had to purchase these additional gateways, and the shipping delay on those is anywhere from 16 to 24 weeks. Internally, the CALIT staff had a couple of pretty lengthy discussions about what our options were, and what the alternative was. The only other option we could come up with was to work from mobile radios, but considering that it could take a week to 2 weeks to set up that connectivity at the Ocean Beach site, we really felt like the risk outweighed the benefit of that, and we'd rather do it right and potentially delay the move in or go live at Ocean Beach versus putting responders or the public at risk and diminishing our capabilities because we wouldn't have the ability to send out like plectron tones or anything like that. So we made a decision to move ahead with the original plan, but it is, I'll say potentially, but we believe that it's going to create a delay in us actually moving in to the new facility. We had additional conversations with Motorola about potentially other projects that they're doing. And if there was an ability to basically take equipment from other projects that aren't on our timeline and put us ahead of those projects. So they will be looking into that, but contractually they can't commit to that to us. And I know there's going to be a CAD question, but I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions about this radio part. And then I'll move on to the Spillman piece of this as well.
First question, have you placed a purchase order with them?
Yes, we did.
So we are on.
We're on the
track
list.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have a question. Based on that current schedule, then when would the estimated move-in be?
Well, worst case scenario, if we said 8 months, it would be in probably mid-November. If we were to get the equipment in 24 weeks, it would still take a couple of weeks for the installation of that equipment. So that put us at probably the second or third week of September.
Well, along with that, do you want to talk about the phone system? Is it Emergency Call Works, which is also Motorola?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about that?
Yep.
Where we're at with that?
I met with 2 of the reps for the ECW phone, had a discussion with them because they're Motorola, if there were going to be, extensive delays with the refresh on the phone equipment. They told me no, not anything like this gateway thing that we're looking for. They said they could breathe a little bit easier, that potentially our move in go live isn't June 1st, but I asked them not to delay that piece of the project at all, because as soon as we can take, possession or substantial completion of that site, we could start moving equipment in and setting that up. And we would like, that refresh up and ready to go, as soon as they can get the equipment in and start that, because it'll be another pretty big project. I'm not concerned about the training piece of the ECW phones. There's not a lot of changes in, the GUI or functionality. It's just a refresh or an upgrade. So that should not hinder us. The worst thing is the radio piece. Now you want me to go on to the CAD part?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so
Another Motorola product.
yeah, Spillman CAD is also Motorola. One piece of good news is that the radio team from Motorola, the ECW team from Motorola, and the Spillman team from Motorola will be meeting together, all of them, to coordinate on their side so that it's a smoother transition and they're not walking on the top of each other trying to plan the pieces of the projects, which is good, because it was starting to feel like maybe they weren't talking to each other. So they are going to be meeting, and then they'll be meeting with us as well. We, and I'll say Dawn and I had a discussion about the Spillman piece of this. That could we go ahead and go live with Spillman here? Or, were we gonna be stuck, changing all of the schedules for all the training, or having some big substantial delay between when everyone got training and when they actually go live? And because we built a redundant server network, we can go live here. So we don't want to change the Spillman schedule at all. And we're going to go ahead and go live with Spillman here at the Hall of Justice. And then when we get moved in to the new facility, it's just a matter of a switch, and we switch over to the servers at the Ocean Beach location. And these servers run simultaneously anyway, or will be, so that we were able to do upgrades and patches and fixes without substantial downtime with the servers. So that's a good thing. I know that there was a little anxiety about that for folks, because you don't want to get trained and then not be able to utilize what you were trained in for several months. So we will go live here as scheduled, which is the week of June 7th.
Well, yeah, are there any questions for Deanna on any of these issues?
I have one question, Sheriff. I believe we had a contract, or we have a contract with Cowlitz County for the lease of the current facility. And do you recall, or could maybe you have Norm check into what the expiration of that lease agreement is? I don't recall if it was June or the end of the year. And I was wondering if we could have that in the event that that becomes an issue with the prolonged move.
Well, no, there's no plans for the old 911 center. Actually, I think we were kind of planning on moving in there at the sheriff's office, some of our offices, but aside from that, there's no plans for it. But yeah, that'd be good we could clarify that, make sure we're on the same page with the county.
Right. And, if it expired in June, obviously it seems like we might have to renew some kind of a short-term agreement there.
I'll look into it.
Well, it'd take at least 3 months for them to evict us anyway, so.
All right. Good enough. Thank you.
Doesn't the sheriff have to do the evicting too?
I was thinking.
That's even longer.
Yeah, I think there's some wiggle room there that we could. Okay. If there's no questions on that, the other question, just in terms of the radio system itself, is there any updates on any of the projects you have on with towers?
Yep. Abernathy, we have some equipment on order. I told you about the damage due to the ice and snow and stuff that occurred up there. They've repaired the current equipment, repaired it. It's working, but not efficiently, not like it should be. So we do have equipment on order. Baker's Corner, there was an issue with a conduit that's plugged, and Ken from Day Wireless has reached out to David Tapian, and apparently that was the company that put the conduits in. I asked him to maybe reach out to the county to see if they had some as-built, or design plans, but they're trying to figure out, I guess, where that conduit starts or something, to blow the line out, because they don't want to ruin other stuff by shooting water through that conduit. So they're working on that. As soon as that gets resolved, then they'll run the wire and get the receivers up there. Castle Rock Electrical passed, and they're installing the meter head, and the equipment is already up on the tower itself. You won't see a substantial improvement yet, because we need to get that Abernathy equipment replaced. And this Castle Rock site shoots to that Abernathy site. So we need to get the Abernathy equipment in and that repaired. Woodland, we worked with the mayor who worked with the public works director, thank you. And they identified another location near, it's on the water treatment property, but outside of their plant itself, I guess. Day Wireless is going to get a lift truck down there so that they can verify that they have a clean view to the Davis Peak link. And then we'll do a geo study. And we have to get new clearance from the FAA because the tower will have to be taller than what our original clearance was, and the location is different. They will be getting a new quote to me for that site because we're gonna have to run power now and fencing, and there's a taller pole. So there'll be some additional costs at that site. Deer Island, I just have not had a chance to reach out to them, and it's on my things to do. I'm gonna put that at a top of priority because of the delays with the Woodland location itself, and hopefully this will help somehow. I mean, the site's already there. We don't have to do anything. We just need to put equipment on it, so. And agree on the contract. Any questions?
Deanna, just a comment, the as-built for Baker's Corner site will probably be on file at the city of Longview, not the county.
Oh, okay,
Just so you don't spin your wheels there a little bit.
okay.
Hey,
Jeremy.
Deanna, sorry, this is Ralph.
Uh-huh.
Were you done, Alan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, I'm sorry, backing up to the to Spillman CAD and the transition, I guess the transition away from MPS and radio IP. Maybe you or Troy, NetMotion, is there any progress or any updates on
Yeah.
that and how that will kind of segue into the Spillman CAD rollout?
So we've already done some work with NetMotion. You know, the contract is in place and Don has been working with them. He's got the software on the server. Do you have an IT person point of contact, or are you working with More Power?
Yeah, we got More Power. So you've got
Okay.
the speaker there.
That would be really an easy coordination because we're also working with More Power for this project. So I can, if you guys are ready to, I don't know, do some testing, whatever, I can reach out to Chris and Dawn and have them put that on their list.
That'd be great.
Okay,
Thanks.
Here, are there any other questions for Deanna or staff on any other issues? The only other things we have on the agenda are the executive session, then a closed meeting. So this would be the time for any questions for staff or new business. Alrighty, well, hearing none, we're going to go into executive session. So if Bree can move us there, I think we'll go for 10 minutes for board members, alternates, Norm and Frank. And the purpose of that is going to be to discuss the qualifications for employee for public employment. Did I say that right, Frank?
Yes, correct.
Okay. We'll, for 10 minutes, we'll be in executive session and come back out. And after we adjourn, go into a closed meeting to discuss the contract negotiations with the Dispatchers Guild. So if Bree can go ahead and move us into a room and cut off the live stream, I'd appreciate it.
They need to be told to leave the breakout room. Brad, you're muted.
There we go. Okay, looks like everybody is back. We're back in open session and the live stream has been turned back on. We had an executive session concerning employment or potential employment of a person for public employment. We took no action in the executive session, but in open session now we want to consider potential hiring of a candidate. And just for the record, we went through a process, recruited applicants. We received 13 and through various processes have narrowed it down to a finalist, John Diamond from Oak Harbor, Washington. And he's gone through quite a few hoops and just like open the floor for the board to make a motion on moving forward with potentially hiring Mr. Diamond.
I would move that we offer employment to Mr. Diamond based on the conditional offer and him completing the steps in that conditional offer.
Second.
Yeah, I'm moving. Yes, please.
Okay. And Ellen's made the motion. There was a second. I'm not sure who that was. Was that Robert Huda?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 I'll also vote aye. Any opposed? Okay. Well, that motion passes. We have nothing else on the agenda. Is there anything for the good of the order at this point? Hearing none, we're going to adjourn and then we will go into a closed session for those who have been involved in the negotiations. We had a subcommittee that was working on negotiations with the guild. And for those who have an interest in that,